Nobody tells you that masturbation becomes a lot less fun when you're required to do it 3 times a week. And every time you do it, at the back of your mind, you're thinking the entire future of my penis is at stake here. It's been 2.5 weeks since I filmed anything relating to being trans or on HRT. I took some time to release the coming out video and then my first month on HRT, both of which you guys have liked a lot. Thank you very much. And almost immediately after that, I got sick with the cold or the flu. And I didn't feel like filming, and I also just didn't feel good. And being sick is annoying anyway, but being sick while you're at the start of your trans journey can be especially frustrating. For me, I wasn't able to wear any eye makeup because my eyes were already so irritated. Voice training was more difficult because my throat was sore and my nose was all stuffed up. And because it was so hard to breathe, I didn't do any body feminizing exercises. Being sick in general made me just feel shitty about having a body in the first place. So any positive or negative or just any changes at all, I just didn't want to deal with. With that being said, I'm feeling a little bit better now, and check it out, I got Blaha. I'm officially a trans person now. One of the reasons I delayed so long in taking HRT is because before I realized that I was trans feminine and knew that I was at least non-binary, I was very okay with my body. I'm fairly toned and fit. I have a cute face. Like, people think at the very least that I'm like attractive enough to mingle with polite society and no one runs in fear at staring at my countenance. I look fine. But then I started taking HRT, and boy oh boy is there a big difference between I am fine and okay with the body I have to being just super excited at the fact that my nipples are like slightly puffy. Before I even considered that I could be trans, most of the trans stories I heard of are that trans people are like reluctant to look at themselves in the mirror, hate the body that they're born in, just want to look like anything else other than the way they are. And I didn't really have that relationship with my body. I liked my body for the most part. I was okay with my body. But now I actively have a fantastic relationship with the body I feel I'm developing. Really the only change is like the nipples, but they feel so good. My girlfriend like came up behind me the other day and like cupped my boobs. I was like, oh my god, like they've changed so much. She said that there's now a what did you say, babe? These feel fuller?
Yeah, fuller.
These feel fuller. I don't know. What's that thing Dora asks you, the audience? Can you see the mountain? And it's like taking up 30% of the screen. Can you see the difference? I will say my right nipple has been like itching a lot. I assume that's just because the skin is stretching. It's like mildly uncomfortable, but emotionally I know that that discomfort means that good things are happening. Also, I booked my first laser hair removal session a couple days ago. I was kind of bummed that there wasn't like an immediate difference. In my head, I was thinking, oh my god, first session, my face will be completely blank, and then the hairs will grow back. I guess that's not how it works. The pain itself was fairly manageable, but I do not grow that much hair, so there aren't many areas of thickness for me. In the areas where the hair was thinner and more sparse, the pain was almost negligible. It was like the ghost of a pinch. It was like remembering that time someone pinched you yesterday. But for the areas where it was thicker, oh my god, it was... There is a realization that you are being zapped with a laser because the pain is so sharp and intense and does last a little bit longer. But my session was fairly short. It was maybe like 5 minutes. By the time I was thinking, ooh, I hope this doesn't go on for much longer, it had ended. And by the time a few minutes passed, the pain had gone down to like an ignorable level. Lots of trans creators and people on the trans subreddit recommend getting laser hair removal and starting voice training as soon as possible. Because if down the road you wake up and you realize, oh shit, like I present more as feminine than masculine now, it's easier to on day of buy yourself makeup and clothing than it is to all of a sudden have no beard shadow and a voice that matches the body that you have. So get laser hair removal done as fast as possible. It is expensive up front. I paid $350 for 8 sessions in bulk, and that wasn't fun to do, but I do know that future me will be very grateful for that. And the laser hair technician who worked on me, well, she said that she's been in this field of work for 25 years and has had lots of trans clientele. And she told me, looking at you, I don't think you'll need the facial feminization surgery. I think once we get rid of the beard shadow, and once the HRT starts to feminize you more by itself, I think you'll be fine. And speaking of that, something affirming that's been happening at work a lot is that customers who don't come by often have been able to like notice a difference. And this is like with and without makeup. On days with makeup, it's generally easier to tell. But that, in addition to the HRT and in addition to me getting my eyebrows thinned last month, I think is enough of a subtle difference. Well, enough of a difference with makeup for people to comment that I look different. And among all these people who haven't seen me in a while, the description of what's different is usually like hard to place. I think the differences are so subtle, it's kind of difficult to really point and say that something is changed. But most of the people say like your eyes are brighter, and the common thread is you look happier. But that sort of leads into my first ever like euphoria moment, a euphoric moment where my gender identity is affirmed, but ew, because it was gross. This guy who I've had a few interactions with in IRL sent me this video of him thirst trapping and like flexing. And when I was like, huh? He was like, oh, my bad. I just sent this to every woman that I know. And that's it for this video, actually. I'm at the end of month 2 of HRT, and no other changes have actually occurred worth noting. I will say that I pee even more now than I did when I first started because of the spironolactone. I'll say that whenever I drink water, I don't even think of the water as water anymore. I just think of it as future piss. It's urine to be. I think when I get my next medical checkup, I might inquire about an option that's not spironolactone, because that's the diuretic that's making me piss an ungodly number of times a day. But aside from that, we're doing good in month 2. I'll see you